Well, the last couple of samples have used lines, and we've even connected them in order to make shapes. But if you're drawing rectangles, instead of having to draw each line one at a time, there's an API for drawing rectangles specifically within the Canvas API. Now for this demo, what I've done is I've drawn a rectangle on the page, and then after that, I drew another rectangle, but except this time, instead of giving it a solid fill, I've given it a transparent fill. Then what I did was I created another rectangle, and these actually end up being squares just because of the dimensions, but the API is called draw rectangle because it hints to the fact that they don't have to be equal dimensions on every side. So I created another rectangle and I told it to clear, and so that cleared out all of the information from it, and then I also stroked it. So I'll give you kind of an idea of the many different things that you can do with rectangles within the canvas. So the first thing that I have here is once my context is ready, I've set my fill style equal to this RGB color. Now, the other examples I showed you how to use hex colors, the fill style, the stroke style, these can take RGB or hex colors interchangeably. So here I've given it an RGB, and this is without any alpha transparency. So this is a solid color. So this is my red right here. And then from context, after I've given it a style, I can say fill rectangle. And the arguments for this function are x coordinate, y coordinate, width, and height. So the first thing that you do is you place where on the canvas you would like the rectangle to appear, and then after you tell it where to start drawing, you can tell it what kind of dimensions you'd like. So here I'm going to x, y, 50, and then creating a box, a rectangle of 100 pixels length and 100 pixels high. The next one here, instead of going with a solid color, I'm passing in a color with an alpha transparency. So I'm calling RGBA and giving it the value that I want, and giving this last argument here is 0.5, so it'd be 50% transparent. Once I have that style set, then I can call fill rectangle, and again here I'm going to the XY coordinate of 80 and then creating a box with width and height equal to 100. Then I create another rectangle within the canvas, and I'm going to the position of 115, 115, and I'm saying I just want this to be smaller, so I'm only giving a width and height of 20. But I'm saying clear rectangle. And what this does is it draws out that same shape within the canvas, but instead of filling it with a color, it completely clears out any sort of fill that's been there in the past. So you can completely remove anything out of a certain area of the canvas by calling clear rectangle. And then finally what I'll do is set my stroke style to an RGB color so that you can see that this works with stroke as well. Set my line width to 6, and then I'm stroking a rectangle here at point 115, 115, 20, 20, the same dimensions that I cleared the rectangle, so it looks like that the cleared rectangle now has an outline.